Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están todos ustedes? Estamos en un nuevo encuentro de la Fundación Atlas, de los podcasts de la Fundación Atlas, y hoy vamos a conversar con dos jóvenes liberales, libertarios de Suecia que están ahora en Argentina. Vamos a charlar con ellos para ver qué están haciendo acá, por qué vinieron, qué es lo que les interesa de la Argentina, qué es lo que hacen en sus países, y vamos a hablar con Carissa Düring y con Rutger Brattström. How are you doing?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Love being in Argentina.
Okay, where are you now, guys?
We're in Jujuy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to read a brief bio of you. Voy a leer una breve biografía de ellos y vamos a empezar a charlar. Carissa Düring es estudiante de Psicología, promueve la reducción del daño del tabaco, ¿sí? Y también es coordinadora de Students for Liberty en Suecia, coordinadora de Estudiantes por la Libertad en Suecia. Y Rutger Brattström está trabajando con la ideología del libre mercado del think tank Timbro en Suecia también. Él ha estado siguiendo y escribiendo sobre la política argentina a partir de la elección de Javier Milei. Entonces ahora vamos a empezar a charlar con ellos y vamos a preguntarle primero qué están haciendo en Argentina. Why you guys came to Argentina? Welcome to Argentina.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's actually quite an easy explanation. As you all in Argentina know, you chose a classical liberal/libertarian president 6 months ago. And I must be very honest, I was not very interested in Argentina before. I know that you are good at football and you have great wine. So some interest was there, but not in the politics. But I followed the election very closely, and when it was done, it happens that I work in a free market think tank in Sweden, actually the biggest think tank in all the Nordic countries. It's called Timbro, as you said before. And we have an online magazine where we write about politics all over the world. We have people writing on France, Germany, and US politics, and also a lot on Swedish politics, of course. So I told our editor at this online magazine that we really need to get someone writing on Argentinian politics now. This is super interesting, and we're a free market think tank. Like, he is proposing our ideas in a country on the other side of the world. But the editor said that I have no one who is an expert in Argentina. So it ended up on me. So I've been writing about Argentinian politics for 6 months. Besides all my work with ideology and education and all that. And it's been a rocky road. It's really hard to understand this country from abroad. I try to read like the newspapers you have, and I try to translate as much as I can, read your history, and I read a little bit of Alberti and so on. But in the end, I realized that I really need to go here and talk to people. That's the only way I can understand all this mess. Yeah, so that's the story. And for you?
Yeah, I mean, I share the same interest of what's been going on in Argentina. I do these kind of projects of interest when it comes to usually libertarian ideology. And I also speak Spanish, which you don't. So it was a great we were complementary to each other in this project. So when the opportunity came to go here, I wanted to join, and we'll also be writing about this when we come back to Sweden.
And now that you're here, what's your opinion about the process that Argentina is living nowadays?
Well, you Argentinians seem to believe that it's going very slow. Like a lot of people that we've talked to who are libertarians or free market thinking seem to think that it hasn't happened that much. Coming from Sweden, we have a totally other perspective. Like as you know, you liberalized your housing market, your rent market in 1 month, and you closed the fiscal gap as well. In Sweden, liberating the rental market would be seen as a successful 4-year term for a government from the liberal side. And for the fiscal gap, like the most successful modern Swedish government we've had, they lowered our public spending from being the first in the world to the 6th in the world. And they did that in 8 years. And that's the most successful liberal government we've had like the last 50 years.
Then it's of course understandable that there is a lot that needs to be done to get Argentina in the right direction. Argentina is a very complicated country with a complicated history and a lot of problems. So there is a need for a lot of reforms and things to happen in a quick pace. But it's been happening a lot.
Okay, and how can you describe the Argentinian mind or minds as a conclusion throughout your the relationship you established with different persons, not just from the libertarian groups, but with the rest, with the normal people?
Yeah. So we spent 10 days in Buenos Aires, and I think we did 20 interviews, over 50 hours of material, and we've continued on. We've done a few interviews here in Jujuy, and we will continue onwards. But Argentinians are really dream interview subjects. Like when you start talking, you never stop. And you're also very generous with your time, and we've got so much more out of this trip than I ever thought I would. And every time we talk to someone, they just open their address book and give us all the contacts they have. So we just continues on. We talk to so much more people than we ever thought we would. And the Argentinian people are also very resourceful. Like talking to all these people, we realized that you face hurdles every day that Swedish people could never imagine. Like as a Swedish people and the Swedish society could never deal with the changing rules and conditions that apply in this country, I think. So.
It was very obvious. We've been meeting some people that have their own companies, and a guy working for Scania, and the way you have to be able to adapt to the constantly changing climate is really, really remarkable. And you see that ongoing throughout the whole Argentinian society. It's very amazing how resourceful Argentinians are, really.
Yeah, because you live in a really, really messy country. Before we got here, we spent like 3 hours just understanding what is the best way to get money when we are here, and all the exchange rates and so on. So so as a tourist, it's very complicated, and I can't really imagine how complicated it is to actually live here.
Did you understand what is the blue dollar, the dollar tarjeta, the official dollar, and all that stuff?
Yeah, in the end, I think we understood it. And we've talked with a lot of cambio people on the Florida street, and also used the tarjeta as well. But it's way better to just bring the dollars or do the Western Union sending.
It takes so much time just to try to figure out which is best. Like it took us so much planning. Like, do we take out money here? Do we bring it? And if we're going to stay for a long time, you don't want to maybe take out that much. How much do we lose if we pay with card? And how much do we lose if we take out at the ATM? Can we take out at the ATM? Turns out we can't really, because there's limitations of how much we can take out. And when we take out money, there's a huge fee that makes us lose a lot of money every time we take out from the ATM, which means we need to find another way. I mean, it's...
And also, if we want to get those like really clean, new, not folded dollars in Sweden, how do you get those? Like no one in Sweden cares about all these things. So
And what is your opinion about the climate of ideas here in Argentina?
Well, a lot of people we talk to seem to think that libertarian / classical liberal ideas are not that strong in Argentina, and that it's kind of an anomaly that Milei got elected. Coming from Sweden, we have a totally different perspective on this. Like it's you don't understand how good you have it here, and I don't know what you're comparing yourselves to either. Like I just listed all the things that you have that we don't have. You have economists from Chicago School or the Austrian School speaking on TV all the time. You have huge YouTubers talking about like freedom and individual liberties. You have entire universities devoted to liberal economics, and you have a full flora of liberal think tanks. In Sweden, it's like Timbro, that's it. There aren't that many think tanks at all. So, yeah, of course, all the people that voted for Milei are not classical liberals, but classical liberalism is really strong in Argentina, at least in the intellectual way. Like, it's way better than Sweden.
And the way when we've been talking to people, they've been able to name people in that they know from either from the Congress, for example, and say, oh, this is a classical liberal, or this is a Chicago economist, or this is this school and this school. And we've also learned a lot of words to describe different kinds of liberalism and not liberalism. Which we've never heard, and I have been active internationally in this world for at least 7 years, and we've never heard it. So we were like, I've been telling you,
paleo-liberal.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we know.
Yeah, so we've been saying that we need to put together like a vocabulary list, just to like words you have to understand like the political discussion within libertarian society in Argentina.
Mm-hmm. It is difficult to understand our political and economic slang for a third-party citizen.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, there's some words that are just, I think, are phenomenals within Argentina that have Spanish names. And if you don't understand the context of which they are used, like slogans, like, what is it, the mixer?
Yeah, the licuadora. The mixer.
Yeah, like those words are hard to understand if you don't really follow it closely, but they are also just more intellectual terms, like paleoliberal. I've never heard that.
Existentialism.
Yeah.
Existentialismo.
Sí.
Yeah,
Existentialismo. Never heard. So this is just those kinds of words. Then I must add, if we're talking ideas even in a wider perspective than just like libertarian field, the way we've been trying to understand Peronism is super complicated, because we've been talking to many people trying to like pinpoint what is the ideological standpoint behind it, and we kind of ended up in the sense that okay, but there doesn't necessarily seem to be an ideological standpoint. It's more a historical background and a deep connection to the workers. But that's very interesting that in one part of the society you have a very strong ideology that's at work, that's like libertarianism and classical liberalism, but on the other side you almost lack ideology, which is very fascinating.
Both with the Peronist voters and the Peronist politicians, and like the thing that unites them is that they want to do what's good, without really defining what's good. And after thinking a bit about it, like we start to understand how this country ended up in this economical mess. Because if you just want to do what is good for like everyone at all time, and like spending a little bit more right now to make it a little bit better for everyone, that's like within the frames of their ideas. Like, yeah, okay, whatever, we spent a little bit too much, but we helped a lot of people, hopefully, and then you end up in a lot of debt after a while.
Okay, and how long will you stay here in Argentina, and what's the message you will take to your countries when a friend of you asks you about what is Argentina and how is freedom now in Argentina?
Well, we are staying another almost 3 weeks here in Argentina. So we will have spent in total 6 weeks. And the message when we come home.
Well, there are several messages. One is that Argentina is really, really messy. And it's really hard to understand.
Like the soccer player.
Just try to bring like the knowledge we have to Sweden, and there are a lot of debates in Sweden that are like pseudo debates and like going on about how to understand Milei. Is he like Trump? Is he just a new neoliberal, and so on? And that's like one of the things I will try to bring to the Swedish debate is like we talked with, for example, Bertie Venegas Lynch, one of his congressmen, trying to understand the alliance he builds with Trump and the Vox party in Spain and so on, which is like one of the bigger news in Sweden. And we talked about why he's doing that and how he doesn't, and how this new libertarian movement in Argentina doesn't really feel a connection with the traditional right-wing parties in other countries that are too slow and too rigid, and they want to be more rock and roll and more like Trump, just saying whatever to bring out their message and say whatever they believe is the truth. So that's why he's doing that. But also would try to like and just tell some of the great stories that we've been told. Like we just yesterday spoke with two young guys here in Jujuy who are engaged in La Libertad Avanza, and we spoke to them why, and they told us like horrific stories about the corruption here and how they should have been helped by an Argentinian welfare state that wasn't there for them, and that's why they don't believe that there is hope for like this Peronist state that is built on corruption, and that's why they've become libertarians and wants to tear it down.
Mm. And one thing that we also want to take with us from this is that, I mean, Milei is just starting, hopefully. And there's a lot of things that are going to happen after this. And we need to understand it because there are no guarantees that it will be successful. There's a lot of things that can happen. He doesn't get enough support in Congress, so he can't pass enough bills or reforms, or it's Argentina. A lot of things can happen very quickly. So when it does, we also need to understand why. Was there something wrong with the ideas? Was it something with the political situation in Argentina and those kinds of things? And we need to be equipped to be able to explain that if it happens. And if it turns out great, we also want to be able to explain why it did. So there's a lot that can happen here going forward that will be very important and very influential in the rest of the world. The world is really looking at Argentina right now and just hoping that it will go well.
Yeah, Argentina is unavoidably going to become like the big baseball bat in politics in other countries, and especially in Europe with our big welfare states. And if this turns out like good, we have great arguments for our side in proposing liberty in Sweden and in Europe. and if this turns out to be a disaster, and if Milei leaves office disgrace, we really need to know why, to be able to explain that hopefully it wasn't our ideas that was the problem. Argentina has so many other problems that could be the problem.
Okay, Carissa and Rutger, thank you for this opportunity to talk to you during your vacations in the north part of Argentina. Thank you so much, y agradecemos a todos los que nos acompañan por esta posibilidad de charlar con estos dos jóvenes brillantes de Suecia que están en Argentina estudiando qué pasa con la libertad en Argentina. Son jóvenes comprometidos con las ideas de libertad y que tienen una visión muy valiosa para comprender este proceso tan profundo que está viviendo la Argentina. Carissa, Rutger, muchísimas gracias. Gracias por esta oportunidad.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.